your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
But hold on, it's almost halftime.
It is a bright, beautiful, sunny day at Boshemer Stadium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, on the campus of the University of North Carolina. And that's where we got halftime going today. And in exactly 24 hours, I'll be saying maybe the exact same words for the start of the Super Regional between the Razorbacks and the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm Phil Elson in Chapel Hill today. Matty T is holding down the fort all by himself. I think he's the only person in the entire building right now.
I think so. I haven't seen anybody else today. You're pretty sure it's going to start on time and everything tomorrow? I don't have to worry about any storms or anything like that?
I feel good about that. There were some chances of rain in the morning for tomorrow, but it's all dwindled down.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the baseball gods are not going to screw around with this Super Regional or any of the Super Regionals that go around this area, which includes in Greenville, North Carolina, just a few hours down the road, where you're going to have Super Regional games starting pretty soon, I think. Yeah, Texas, East Carolina is the first game to start, and they're going to have first pitch in about a minute or so, which is on ESPN2. So pardon me if I do, if just without realizing I'm doing it, a little play-by-play of the Longhorns and Pirates as the Super Regionals get underway today. After that one's done, you get Oklahoma and Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Notre Dame and Tennessee at 5 o'clock, and Louisville and Texas A&M are really the only night game in the Super Regionals. And I got to tell you, where the home of North Carolina baseball is a very nice ballpark. This is a very comfortable, attractive facility. And it seats 4,100, and that's it. I think there's plenty of other spaces for people to stand around outside the ballpark without even getting in and not having to pay, because you've got you got dormitories all around here. In fact, the dorm that the baseball players live at is just above the visiting bullpen, literally just above the visiting bullpen. You got the field hockey stadium, the home of North Carolina field hockey, just past right field, and they've got a stand above the right field fence for field hockey that I think they'll have plenty of fans standing on there for the Super Regional. And then another dormitory that's like 7 stories high past the video board in left field, where people can stand and watch the game too. So you can get maybe 4,100, maybe about, 4,600 standing room, but there'll be a few hundred other people that are around the stadium that don't have to pay to get in. I got to tell you, though, this is going to be a great atmosphere for a Super Regional. And I know we're trained sometimes to just compare it to where we live or where we call home. It ain't Baum Stadium. Nothing is. So you just have to erase that out of your mind. And this is not a facility that's worth pointing fingers at and saying, well, you're so cute and small. This is a really nice ballpark. Very well taken care of. It was renovated, as I understand, 11 years ago. And it looks like they put some money into the seats, into the field specifically. It's an all-grass field except for foul territory, which is the fake stuff. There's no artificial, there is dirt, where you're supposed to be dirt, a real pitcher's mound. And I get the sense this might have a bit of a lean towards hitters here at Boshemer Stadium. For those, if you've ever made the trip or if you've seen on television games played at Auburn's Plainsman Park, just across the street from Jordan-Hare Stadium, Boshemer reminds me of a more updated Plainsman Park in Auburn, and a little bit larger too. A nicer facility, I think, than the Tigers play in. And of course, Auburn is also in a Super Regional. But if you are one of the lucky Razorback fans who has tickets to this event, I think you're going to enjoy the setting, no doubt. Good luck getting here, though, because I've read already. Who wants to take commercial flights anywhere these days? I've already read about. I think Peyton Stovall's parents are having a lot of trouble. They had to drive a few hours just to get to another airport, and trying to make it out here. So if you are one of the lucky folks, you're not going to be disappointed by this stadium.
Did I see that they only made 600 tickets available for Razorback fans?
Yeah, that is true, Matty. But I think, let's say, if there's 4,100 total seats, and you got 600 tickets of actual seats, it's not a bad percentage, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I guess if there are any single tickets that go on sale, it's going to be tomorrow, because I don't think there's any room for any single tickets to be sold. You got a big booster arm that snapped up all the tickets they could. Season ticket holders part of it, and then they had to give the 600 tickets to Arkansas. I do think it's a hitter's park. It looks like left-handed hitters have a little bit of help. It's only 355 feet to right center field. So, usually you'll get it would be a symmetrical facility if they didn't push the right field fence in a little bit. And it looks like, and I don't know what the measurements of the park look like since it was built, but this has always been for decades the site of North Carolina baseball. But they must have pushed that fence in a little bit in right field when they built the field hockey stadium, because it does look like that kind of intrudes into where right center field used to be. So this is good for Arkansas with all the left-handed power. Michael Turner. Peyton Stowell hasn't shown much power, but I think it's there. Brady Slavin's obviously. Robert Moore when he hits lefty. Zach Gregory, if Jace Borfin does get a chance to hit in the game. For all the times that we've seen Razorback possible home runs knocked down by the wind or just caught at the fence in right center, it's not going to happen here very often. You get and of course that goes for the North Carolina hitters too, and they've got their share of power hitters. I think most of their power is right-handed, though. It's not like you can't hit it the other way. But, yeah, I think this park does play to some of the strengths that Arkansas features offensively, which specifically at the top of the list is left-handed power. And the Hogs will be here momentarily. They're practicing, I think, 45 minutes after our show is complete. They'll be out there getting their usual pre-series workout and then meeting with the media for a session. Sometime while we're on the air, North Carolina will be out there doing the same thing. Since they're the home team, they get to be on the field first. And just kind of waiting for everybody to get in here so we can start making this feel like a super regional. And they are now about to be underway in Greenville. Oh, it's exciting. Just getting out here and, going someplace new. Don't you love going places that are new? I've never been to Chapel Hill before.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Is go somewhere I've never been before.
Well, and go to ballparks and sporting events and stadiums and campuses that you've never visited before. I mean, that's one of the great things about being a fan in college sports. If you do travel, and most of you will be probably watching the game on television. But it's a new place to experience Razorback baseball and a postseason experience that I think will be a little bit different than what we get at Baum. I think it'll be loud here. I think it'll be really loud here. But it's just it's there's no way it could be quite as crazy as we've seen at Baum, and I wonder if they'll be able to match the intensity that we saw from the Oklahoma State fans. But this North Carolina team has been playing incredibly well of late. They already won a home regional, and some of the folks here told me that they've never seen the atmosphere like it was here recently. They were 33-7 playing in this stadium this year. And Arkansas, by virtue of their wins in Stillwater against Oklahoma State, now actually are right at 500 on the road, 9-9. And it's funny because if the first thing I thought when I walked in here is it reminded me of Auburn. And one of the three road series Arkansas has won on the road, and I'm counting the regional as a road series because they took 2 out of 3 from the host Cowboys. It reminds me of Auburn, and Arkansas has a road series win at Auburn, which was their second of the year. So maybe the guys will figure that out when they get here, and I know that they're pretty fired up about doing this. The team just seems to have a pretty good demeanor about them. Not overly confident, but also understanding the situation. It's tough to go win super regionals on the road, but you know what? We landed yesterday closer to Raleigh than we were to Durham. What's the university in Raleigh? North Carolina State. Didn't they win a road super regional last year? Yeah, you remember when that happened. I remember it too. 877-377-6963 to get with us. Throughout the next couple of hours, we will have calls and texts. We do have 3 guests. So anytime throughout the show today, if you want to get your Ask Phil questions in, which we've been doing on our Fridays mostly, thanks to our friends at the Stadium Shop, you can get them in into, you can either tweet them to me at Phil Elson PXP or via call or text. And that number again is 877-377-6963. 3 guests today. Aaron Torres, noted college baseball guy at the bottom of the hour. Of course, he's a huge UConn fan. And if Arkansas and UConn advance past their super regionals, they will play in Omaha in the first game that either will match up. So that should be pretty cool. So we got AT, bottom of the hour. We're going to be visiting with the radio voice of the North Carolina Tar Heel baseball program as well during the show. That is Dave. Pardon me one moment here. I lost my notes. But Dave will join us during the show. I know he's got a last name, too. It's Dave Nathan. Dave Nathan will join us during the show in the booth, and I expect Bob Holt, who traveled here with all of his cohorts from the Democrat Gazette and Whole Hog Sports, to join us live or on the phone in hour number 2, because that's about the time that Arkansas should be traveling, so expecting that he will be there as well. Hey, you know what? Joe's Grill and Cantina is the place to be this weekend for Razorback baseball, and of course they've got great specials going on today. And when you got the baseball game on, they're going to have half-price apps and taps once it comes time to baseball. Today, you got your chicken fajitas and your steak fajitas are the special. $10 for chicken fajitas and $11 for steak fajitas. You get your sides of beans and rice with it. Only $4 for a flavored margarita all day long at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Download the Waiter app to order or go to joesportsmith.com. You can order there, and they are right across from Harps in Fort Smith. Much more on Halftime is coming up after the break here at Beauchemin Stadium in Chapel Hill.
Watch the way I navigate. Tommy and Ty on the morning rush. Paint the game with a golden brush. Halftime field show diamonds today. Strike 'em out, love to say. Russian sack are 2 insane skies. Hogs score.
ESPN 95.3.
The brand new 2022 Fords are arriving now at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. You got a brand new Mustang, you got brand new F-150s, you got Broncos on the way. It's all here in Salisaw.
Yes, hey, not only just the new Ford Mustang, but we got the new all-electric Ford Mustang in here, the Mach-E. We just got it in today. Just got a Ford Explorer loaded off also. We got some F-150 Super Duties, more Explorers coming in. I mean, if you're looking for a new Ford, this is where you want to buy. And hey, I mean, Tommy, we were talking about this just a second ago. We are still one of the only dealers around here that is not charging over MSRP. So if you want a deal on a new vehicle, this is where you want to buy.
What about Broncos?
Oh, yeah, we got 2 Broncos on the way. And here's the cool part. They are the hardtop Broncos, too. So get down here and see us. We've got the inventory. We want to sell you some.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw, and always online at harryrobinson.com.
Inventory shortage? Not here. Wheeler Power Sports has its own showroom packed with brand new units. They have a great selection of Kawasaki bikes featuring the Ninja Z900, the KLR 650, and the Ninja 400. Wheeler Power Sports has everyone covered for all ages and all the gear and protection to keep them safe. Looking for that side-by-side or ATV for this spring? Wheeler Power Sports has the best in-stock selection in the area, and they can special order to fulfill your need. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Each day we see familiar faces who have supported us from the beginning because they see the benefits of an active lifestyle. We're also always meeting new customers who are taking their first steps towards making running or walking a part of daily life. We have the opportunity to share in their successes and help them achieve their goals. The people of Fort Smith and the River Valley are why we believe we were voted one of the best running stores in America. Visit us and see how we can help you. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about renter's insurance.
Save thousands during the storm damage sale at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Over 350 new and pre-owned vehicles were damaged during the recent storm, and now over $1 million in discounts will be passed on to Harry Robinson's customers. Some of the damage is really minor, but the savings are severe. Plus, there are still lots of vehicles that were not damaged in stock. Save thousands on your next vehicle during the storm damage sale at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna stand by.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Or get on those Ask Phil questions at 877-377-6963. We'll take them really for the entire show. And thanks to the Stadium Shop for sponsoring it. The Stadium Shop on Razorback right next to Bump. Boy, bummer we're not playing in a Super. You could go right there. We could do the show right there if we were hosting a Super today. But the Stadium Shop does have everything that baseball fans need for their summer fun. If you're talking about grilling, tongs, spatula, grill hooks, grill scraper, brush, and a grill fork, it's all got baseball bat handles. Everything you want from clothing a fan cave at the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Local family alumni owned and operated. Robert and Matt always available at 479 Stadium. That's 479 Stadium, or just stop by the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Let them know we sent you from ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Shop with an E on razorback.com is the website. And Mr. Pibb asked about Jace Borfin. Did he come out of the lineup because he cooled off or for defense? Yes. As both of them, I think. Dave Van Horn gave a couple of left-handed batters a shot a few weeks ago, those being Kendall Diggs and Borfin. Both profile as power hitters, and both have really nice-looking swings, especially Borfin. I'll tell you, the ball really jumps off Jace's bat, and he's got a nice, easy, smooth-looking swing. But it's just been a little bit snake-bitten this year with a couple of injuries that kept him out. And then when he got back in, it was just tough, I think, to take Zach Gregory out of the lineup. And Borfin just has – I don't know if he's hit enough to really stay in. 228 batting average. On base is under 330. 3 homers and 17 runs batted in. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Borfin gets a pinch hit opportunity at some point in this series because, again, with a short porch in right field, that's going to be an enticing thought. And maybe not the same with Kendall Diggs. Kendall, I think, probably will sit throughout the entire weekend. But he got his opportunity, and he was an all-or-nothing guy. But he's an interesting prospect, too, because he's got power and a fairly good eye at the plate. I see Kendall Diggs as a guy that's going to be a high-power, high-on-base percentage hitter. It's just as a freshman, it's been tough for him to be able to stick in the lineup when he's been given a chance. And you know, the thing with Gregory, too, and we got some texts about this yesterday, he's not reaching base with hits right now, but he's still reaching base other ways. He doesn't. It's amazing with Zach because he has 29 base hits on the year and 32 walks. Like, it's incredibly rare to see a player have more walks than base hits. But then tack on the 16 times hit by a pitch, that's more than half of the total of his base hits. So Gregory's reached base 48 times without a hit. That's how you get an on-base percentage that's 219 points higher than a batting average, and that has some value to it. Certainly, especially when you hit in the number 9 spot, and Dave Van Horn has looked at that number 9 spot as an extra leadoff guy. I kind of question whether or not that's really an extra leadoff spot or if it's really just where you're putting the hitter who's got your lowest average. But I think Gregory's tough to take out of the lineup right now. And either one of them, like Zach had his moments in the outfield in the regional in Stillwater, but I think he made more good plays than rough plays. I think you might have stuck in your mind the ball that he slipped on Sunday in left field on that line drive, but he made a couple of really nice leaping catches, and a former infielder turned himself into a pretty good outfielder. So, yeah, and Dave gave them both an opportunity to not just to hit, but to stick in the lineup for a while, and just hasn't. Jace didn't really do anything to warrant staying in that lineup, and I think other than a couple of home runs over the course of like 7 games, you'd say the same thing about Kendall Diggs. More questions coming in. Calvert says base runners are base runners. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, and that, I mean, there's some truth to that, Calvert. There are some situations where a base hit means more than a walk, and there are other situations where you got to forego your stubbornness of the strike zone. And Bubba will say this a lot. There's a me at bat and there's a team at bat. There are situations where contact means more. Guy at third base, less than 2 outs, infield back. I understand, you don't want to get yourself out by swinging at a pitcher's pitch, but the situation might play itself to where they just need you to hit a ground ball to a middle infielder to bring the run home from third base. So you don't want to get yourself into a tough count at that point. And I think there are some times where the choosy hitters, the ones who really do have a good idea of the strike zone, are a little too stubborn. And take it from someone who's incredibly stubborn anyway. I understand those things because I'm pretty stubborn myself. So I think there are times where Zach probably should swing the bat and doesn't. But his on-base percentage, to me, you can't take the guy out of the lineup that leads the team in on-base percentage, no matter what his batting average is. OBP means something. He's in that lineup for a reason. We do have some comings and goings across Arkansas baseball, and you have to just appreciate this is also the time of year that it's not just the postseason, but the transfer portal is going nuts, and the Arkansas coaches, they got to spend a lot of time just recruiting college players already right now. So you got 3 players that have committed from other universities or one who's a junior college pitcher. And that also means there's a couple others that are going to be leaving. And there are probably going to be more that leave the program than just the 2 or 3 that I saw the names of. Vincent Trappiani, he never pitched for Arkansas, but he was on the team for this year. They would have redshirted him, but he's in the transfer portal. Mark Adamiak in the transfer portal. Big, tall right-hander. Looks the part of the big leaguer, has all the stuff, but just hasn't commanded it at a consistent level to where the coaches feel confident putting him in the game. I think Adamiak probably transfers to a more of a lower level program, but might actually, once he harnesses his stuff, he's got all the stuff to be a very successful college pitcher and maybe beyond. The one that's a little, I don't know if I'd say the word concerning, but it felt like Drake Varnado was part of the future of the program, even though he didn't get on the field very much outside of pinch running this year. And I think more than anything, it's because it's just a tough group of position players to crack. But Varnado, who is a shortstop or plays anywhere in the infield and got a couple of starts in the outfield this year, he was the guy that they'd go to as a pinch runner late in games. But he wasn't on the roster for the regional, and that's probably because he informed the coaches that he's going to enter the transfer portal. And he's already chosen Arizona State. So he's at a high-level program in a good league. I'll be paying attention to see what happens with Varnado because David said he was one of the best athletes he'd ever recruited. He's just not going to be a Razorback anymore. So here are the players that have announced they're going to be joining Arkansas baseball. And I think there'll probably have to be a few more in the next week to 2 weeks just because of the clear amount of players that Arkansas has to replace, which is almost the entire lineup from this year's team. So here's a guy who's going to have a chance to be one of your everyday outfielders, and he probably should be one of your everyday outfielders. His name's Jared Wagner, out of Creighton. He was a first-team All-Big East right-hand hitting outfielder. He had a big senior season, hit for 11 homers, hit in the 360s, and that's after he really wasn't a very productive hitter his first 3 years, but I guess as a senior things clicked, and now he's taking a step up in competition, and we'll see how he does as an Arkansas outfielder next year. Also, and I love this name, Tyson Fourkiller from Connors State, junior college player. He's more of a diminutive guy, and he profiles as a leadoff hitter. I'd read in Richard Davenport's report that he struck out just 7 times all junior college baseball season. So it might be a guy that profiles as a leadoff guy. And then a tall lefty, Hunter Holland from San Jac. This is an interesting pitcher. Tall lefty. He was drafted by Milwaukee last year, but obviously decided to go to junior college, and he's going to be a Razorback next year. 6'5", almost 200 pounds. A lot of strikeouts in JUCO. You just never know how the JUCO stats translate to big-time college baseball. But if the Milwaukee Brewers took a flyer on him with one of their 20 draft picks for last year and he didn't sign, something tells me he's an incredibly talented lefty and might be a pretty important part of the Arkansas pitching staff next year. So those are some of the thoughts on the comings and the goings of Arkansas baseball for this upcoming season. Text out of the 479 prediction on how many home runs tomorrow. Oh man, I don't know. Connor Nolan's been so good keeping the ball in the ballpark for the most part. That's his #1 strength, keeping the ball in the park, and he's going to have to do that against this North Carolina team that had 14 home runs in their regional. And they got a couple of guys with 20 or more, including their center fielder, great freshman Vance Honeycutt, and their everyday DH, Alberto Osuna, who hit a ball over the video board in left field during the regional last weekend. So I'm not going to make a prediction for you, but I will tell you, I think that, if you want to be simple about this, is the team that hits more home runs going to win the regional? There's a good chance about that, and Arkansas has been very good keeping the ball in the park. I know, Oklahoma State might have been a different thing. You remove that from the equation, and for the most part this year, Hogs pitchers are one of the best in the country at keeping the ball in the ballpark. In just a moment, we're going to be joined by our friend Aaron Torres from Aaron Torres Sports Media. Keep those questions coming in for Ask Bill, presented by the Stadium Shop at 877-377-6963. There's a lot more halftime coming up next.
Hardworking simplicity and serious durability. That's the winning combination you get when you pair a rugged Workmaster utility tractor with a Dura-Disc heavy-duty disc mower, both from New Holland and Williams Tractor, now WT Equipment in Springdale. You'll maximize the tonnage of your hayfields by slicing a clean, close swath, up to 10 foot 4 inches wide, all while operating in confidence and comfort with a Workmaster tractor with high visibility all-weather cab. Stop by WT Equipment in Springdale today to learn about this unstoppable New Holland team.
The company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates is looking for quality people to join the Fenceman team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fenceman offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fenceman. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fenceman is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today.
Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort. More excitement, more winning at Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort and by North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, bringing better to you.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know. People.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Welcome back to Boshamer Stadium. Arkansas, North Carolina Super Regional will be underway in less than 24 hours. Texas is ahead of ECU 2-0 in the first inning, but ECU is threatening with bases loaded and nobody out, so it's already a crazy Super Regional, and they haven't even finished the first inning. We're going to talk with noted college baseball guy Aaron Torres from Aaron Torres Sports Media, Fox Sports Radio, and the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. I was on AT's podcast that was released yesterday, and I think we've put it out again today, so I'm sure this is breaking all sorts of record for your downloads, Aaron. You got so many college baseball fans. What are you, in the tens of thousands of downloads now?
I think we may have hit seven figures this morning. I'm not sure yet. I haven't checked all the numbers, but yeah, everything's rolling in. Thank you for joining me, Phil. I had an absolute blast. I love bringing you on because, hopefully in the same way that maybe during basketball season or football season, your audience can learn a little something from me. I always learn a ton from you, including, by the way, now I was sad when Texas jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but now it is 2-2 or 2-1, I believe, because you told me ECU is the famed team that's never been there before to Omaha. So now we're all rooting for the Pirates. I got rooting interest in a bunch of series that I didn't otherwise. But like I said, I appreciate your time, and I always learn something about this sport, a sport that I've honestly really grown to enjoy the last couple of years. So thank you for joining me.
Yeah, man, I think really, like, if you're to look at Cinderellas, so to speak, for programs that ECU has knocked on the door of being in Omaha a few times. They've just never been there. But there's, like UConn hasn't been there since 1979, and that's Arkansas's first year in the College World Series. And Virginia Tech is in their first ever Super Regional ever, and taking on a
Wow.
program in Oklahoma that's been to Omaha 10 times, has a couple of natties. So I know you're already rooting for UConn. Now you pick ECU, and you can go with Virginia Tech too, because you want to root for the Cinderellas. As far as Arkansas, North Carolina, though, like this is even, and when you look at history, because Arkansas has been to Omaha 10 times without winning, Carolina 11 times without winning. So there is no Cinderella as far as this one goes. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna
What were
say,
you gonna-
when we landed yesterday, AT, I'm on the team flight, so we go into one of these FBO, this flight business organizations, to get our rental cars. The first thing that happens when I walk into the office is there's Grant Hill sitting in a chair, waiting to fly somewhere on a private jet, and I'm like, all right, well, I was looking for JJ Redick if I'm looking for Duke guys.
My
I
guy.
found someone who was better, right?
For sure. That's incredible. I mean, obviously, and there's obviously really I don't know how many of the Arkansas baseball players know the history, but I know the history between Grant Hill and the Hogs. So the Hogs ended his career.
That's right.
So
that's right. And
that's
I even
crazy.
Said, I'm wearing my Arkansas stuff, and I shake his hand. I'm like, nice to meet you, Grant Hill. My name's Phil, and I'm with Arkansas Baseball. And I said, we're playing North Carolina. He says, hope you beat them. And I didn't ask him anything about his comments from when Arkansas when Arkansas played in the college basketball tournament, because I know he was asked about that quite a bit.
That's right. I forgot about that pseudo controversy where I think he picked Duke. And listen, you don't want to get on the wrong side of Hog Twitter. I'll tell you that. I mean, I've been on the good side for the most part, but I've been on the bad side here a couple times there, so I get it. But that is pretty crazy. I had a little comment on that. I can't remember what it was. Real quick, so North Carolina baseball is pretty good. I remember them being in Omaha a few years ago, and they had like Andrew Miller or whatever. They're pretty good historically, right? I know you said, 8-9 trips? I know they never won it, but they've been pretty good historically, right?
They've been there 10 times. I saw a media outlet call them the Razorbacks of the ACC. In just the idea that it is a program that's been to Omaha a lot but has never won. And, in fact, the last time Carolina made it to the College World Series was 2018. And the Arkansas and Carolina were on opposite sides of the bracket then. Of course, the Razorbacks finished runner-up that year to Oregon State. Yeah. So, but the only time they've ever met is in Omaha, and in 1989. Yeah. So now and there's not been a lot of success for the Hogs all time against Carolina as far as sports are concerned. Hopefully that'll change around. Hey, I wanted to ask you about this. I saw where in college basketball now, officials can now start to offer, can do a Class B technical foul on flopping, which it used to be, I think you had to warn them the first time and then you get your one foul shot. So if we're now making this sweeping rule change for college basketball involving flopping, why can't we do something with faking injuries in college football? Maybe these aren't really equal, but I don't know. It's like if we can handle the flopping thing in basketball, why can't we handle the essentially faking injuries as flopping in college football too?
It is. No, it's a great question. I hadn't really thought about it. And, the flopping thing, I saw that. I didn't really look much into it, only for the only reason being that I feel like it's one of those rules that feels great on paper, like the flop warning, that then just became annoying. And like within 2 weeks, Jay Billis was like, we got to get this out of the rule book, worst rule ever. And so it's like, intent versus harm. By the way, do we think this is why Jalen Williams went pro? Is this why Jalen Williams went pro? He knew it was coming down. He got wind that it was coming down in the rule book. But no, it's really interesting. And what I would say is, the faking injuries thing, that's one that, whenever I do a radio show like this, do my podcast, do whatever, I always like to just, come on, take on a topic and have an answer. And that's one where I don't really have an answer, because how do you litigate who's really injured and who's not, right? I mean, something, I guess I don't watch a ton of soccer, but it seems like it's something that they've just been dealing with in soccer for years. And I don't know when it first became a thing here in college football. I know Lane Kiffin's, his program is the one that has mastered it. But no, it's crazy, man. But it is something that I do think it's frustrating. Obviously, we saw a lot of it last year, but I don't know. I mean, maybe we can figure it out. I haven't figured out a way yet, but that is an interesting parallel. If we can sort of figure out flopping, it feels like there has to be a way to figure out, faking injuries to kind of stop the clock. So.
Well, it's a matter of being able to decipher intent, right? I guess they're figuring you can notice intent in how somebody handles soft contact in certain situations in basketball. But man, I mean, how much more do you need to be able to tell the intent when a player is literally on the next to the sideline? A coach whispers into his ear, and the next thing you know, he drops down like somebody shot him. I mean, I feel like we can tell some intent in football with injuries, but maybe not all of it, and that's the sticking point.
The only thing I can think of is, and I've had this belief with the NBA with load management, is if I've always said with load management, if you want to take off one game, it should almost be like the 15-day DL in baseball, where if you deem yourself not healthy enough to play, then you're out for an extended period of time. So if the Lakers have a bad game against the Nuggets on Thursday, but they're playing a marquee game against the Warriors on Saturday, if you want to sit out that Thursday game, then you would have to be out for, say, 10 days or whatever. And I do wonder if there's a way you could do that with an injury, where if you have to stop the clock to remove somebody, like you're out for at least a half. Like you can't just go to the sideline, have the doctor look at you for half a second and fake it and then come back in the very next play. That's the only thing I can think of, and I don't know why that can't be a rule, right? Like if an Ole Miss player all of a sudden, is quote unquote running off the field and collapses like, somebody tackled them from a mile away, why can't they have to sit out the rest of the half just to make sure? I mean, I guess it's like concussion protocol, right? I'm just talking this out on air with you. That makes sense, though, right? You have to miss the rest of the half, can't come back till the second half. Does that make sense, or can't come back for the remainder of the game?
I think it does. I think threatening someone's eligibility for the rest of the game would help take care of something like that. It's just going to be a matter of figuring out the intent, or whether you can use replay and how much time that might take. Hey,
I don't even know if you need to judge intent. Just say if you're so injured that we have to stop the clock we have to stop the game to get you off the field, then you're out for the rest of the half. It's almost like targeting, right? You get hit with targeting. I guess it's the next half too, but so it's this half. And so, it would suck if somebody had a pretty legitimately bad injury that wasn't, game ending, say in the fourth quarter. But listen, I mean, every rule has unintended consequences, and I think if we really do want to get that out, I don't think that's the worst thing. Is like just till the end of the half. If you're really hurt, sit out the next whatever it is, 15 to 30 minutes, and come back in the next half. Doesn't seem that complicated to me.
Hey, AT, I got an email from Arkansas baseball just a few minutes ago that Todd Lee has been named director of scouting and assistant to head coach. He was the head coach at South Dakota for the last 4 years, including this season. I think didn't Stanley Amude would have played for him, and he and Muss go back a long way. And it's just like there's so many times that Muss has a former or future head coach on his staff, and now here's another one who's going to be his top assistant, not assistant coach, but assistant to the head coach and director of scouting. I mean, it feels like a pretty nice guy to bring on your staff.
I will tell you a true story, and I haven't told this story, and I don't think I'm breaking any code of ethics here. I don't even know if Todd Lee really knows who I am, but he coached at Grand Canyon under Dan Marley when Dan Marley was the head coach at Grand Canyon. And 2017 Final Four, they use their practice facility for workouts for like individual teams or whatever. So I'm hanging out there. I knew some people on the Grand Canyon staff at the time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm bumping elbows with Todd Lee. And somehow this young up-and-coming coach at Nevada named Eric Musselman comes up in conversation. I don't even think I had met Coach Muss at this point. And somehow we just start talking, and Todd Lee said, yeah, I've known Muss. Obviously most people that know him call him Muss. Well, we call him Coach Muss because we're, not his colleagues. But he said, I've known, I've known Muss forever, and he's going to kill it. He's going to be a great college coach. And so I never forgot that. I believe it was the next year Todd Lee did get the South Dakota job. They had Stanley Amude. They had a lot of success with Stanley Amude. They never made the NCAA tournament, but they were really good. And then I think, I don't know this for sure, but I think, he probably played a large role in getting Stanley Amude to Arkansas from the perspective of, hey, you have an extra year of eligibility. If you do want to use it somewhere else, I would recommend playing for this guy who coached in the NBA, whatever. So those guys go way back. And then to your point, Phil, right? I mean, this is just another mind that's been around basketball forever. I mean, I don't know his resume off the top of my head, but former head coach, obviously, at the college level. I believe he has some pro background as well. I know for a fact he's known Coach Muss for years. Just another really sharp guy that's going to be in the room. And that's one thing, and I'm sure we've talked about this before, but that I really respect about Coach Muss is that, some guys are intimidated by people that have knowledge or experience or whatever. Coach Muss is the opposite. He wants as many smart people in the room as possible. And I think that speaks a lot to why the program has had success and why he's had success over these last couple of years as a college coach.
Yeah, I'm interested. I wonder why he left South Dakota. He was successful. He was 2021 Summit League Coach of the Year. They went 19-12 this year. They were 7 games over 500 in the league and were really strong after a 2-week shutdown because of COVID. I didn't read anything about him getting fired, and yet he's not taking a job as an assistant coach. I mean, it is an interesting get, for someone that was a lot of coaches leave and they're because they weren't successful where they were, but he was successful. Maybe it's trying a move to get into more big time college basketball, kind of like Stanley Amude did.
Well, if you remember a few years ago, David Patrick made the same decision when he came to Arkansas. I think, Phil, and it's changing in the group of 5 in football and the group of the group of 5 in football and really the mid majors in basketball is. It's a real grind to be a low major college head coach. And listen, we're talking about coaching basketball, but, if you can make, I don't know, $250,000, I think we would all agree that's probably a pretty good salary. And you can be at a place like Arkansas where it's stable, where your coaching staff isn't going anywhere, where whatever, as opposed to being at a low to mid major where, you got about a 4 or 5 year window to make the NCAA tournament. If not, somebody else is going to move. The AD is going to want to move on from you because, that's how an AD gets another job, right? Is by hiring coaches that make big runs in the tournament. Your best players are free agents every year. It's going to be hard to keep them. I think that is something that we're going to see more and more of, where guys, especially Todd Lee's a little bit of an older guy. I think he's probably in his 50s, like Coach Muss. Does he want to grind it out, hope that he finds the right recruits, has the right season? Then you could still, by the way, be really good and your best players leave. And so I think it's a sad reality of where we are in college sports right now. But I think a lot of these low to mid-major coaches are just going to sit there and say, if I can go be an assistant coach, a special assistant at the high major level, I'm going to do it because it's more stability. I can pick off of other people's rosters rather than them picking off of me. I'll tell you really quick, and then I'll throw it back. I don't mean to go long on this answer, but Chris Beard, when he got hired at Texas, actually did this. He hired two guys that were sitting head coaches and paid them good money to become his assistants. I don't know if that's the deal here, but I think sadly that's kind of the world where we're going in college sports.
AT, we're up against it, so we'll let it go there. Good luck to UConn this week. Hopefully we're talking Hogs and Huskies next week, man, because that could be a thing.
All right. Thank you, Phil. Have a great weekend. Go Hogs.
You got it. Aaron Torres from Aaron Torres Sports Media. It is interesting to think about. Well, you give up the bus rides for the flights, maybe making the same amount of money, if not quite the same. You're not running the program. You're seeing how a big-time program is run. It's kind of a launching point, a bit of a launching point maybe to get into big-time college basketball for Todd Lee, although he's been around for a long time. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts here on Halftime. I've got a lot to get to with your text coming up. I think Ty Richardson is coming into the booth at some point, and I got to beat him down because somehow he thinks Tin Cup is one of Kevin Costner's top 5 movies.
That movie sucks.
It's not even the top 5. I don't even know if it's top 10. Stay with us.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats. Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit. The area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Carco Auto Sales takes great pride in serving Fort Smith, the River Valley, and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years, offering a variety of quality, late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Carco Auto Sales will purchase your vehicle as well. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. Check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
The Summer Sell-Down Sales Event is going on right now at Breen RV in Van Buren. New 2023 models are starting to arrive from Forest River, Keystone, Coachman, and StarCraft, all backed by Breen RV's Free Maintenance for Life program. Cure your summertime blues in a 29-foot StarCraft that sleeps up to 10 people for just $229 a month with zero down. With savings up to $20,000 off MSRP on new travel trailers, now is the best time to get your new RV from Breen RV. That's Breen RV in Van Buren, where adventures begin.
Invest in your family this summer with Burton Pools and Spas during the annual Doughboy Pools Super Sales Event. It's going on right now. Hi, Tommy Kraft here for Burton Pools and Spas. It's not too late to enjoy swimming in your backyard with your family this summer, and a Doughboy above ground pool is the way to go. Listen to these savings. Get up to $2,000 off on Doughboy semi-in-ground pools, up to $1,200 off on Doughboy above ground pools. And when you buy a Doughboy pool right now, get 4 free passes to Parrot Island Water Park with any pool purchase to enjoy while your pool is being installed. Hurry, supplies are limited on the passes. It's not too late to swim this summer. All of this is going on right now during the annual Doughboy Pools Super Sales Event. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, where you can get your feet wet without getting in over your head.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has 2 locations, 1316 South Zero and 200 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma, commercial and residential. Tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, glass table, and countertops cut to custom size are just a few services offered by Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company. Arkansas Glass and Mirror stocks laminate glass, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and mirror and plate glass. For more information, call 646-4300. That's 646-4300.
The sun is shining, and now is the time for you to come to River Valley Truck Outfitters for all your window tinting needs. The best place in the River Valley to get quality work and the price you will love. River Valley Truck Outfitters can get your tint on. River Valley Truck Outfitters, specializing in window tints, residential tints, and commercial tints. Bring your vehicle to River Valley Truck Outfitters on Highway 71 at the top of Rye Hill, or call 648-8855, your one-stop truck accessory store.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling.
Find us on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
All right, here are movies that are better than Tin Cup, that star Kevin Costner. The only reason I'm saying this is that Ty already has been to Bull Durham movie sites today, and he sent me a text that said, saw the landmarks of the second best Kevin Costner movie ever made behind Tin Cup. I'm like, dude, it ain't even close. Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, Dances with Wolves, 13 Days, The Untouchables, that's 5. Silverado is better. I think, what's the Hidden Figures is better.
I'd throw Mr. Brooks in there. That's the one I was just telling you where he plays the serial killer.
Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, Open Range, and Robin Hood is better than Tin Cup, too. So I've just named 10 movies, Ty, that's better than your favorite Kevin Costner movie. All right, I got to go to the phones before the break here. Eddie in Clarksville. Hi, Eddie. Welcome to Beauchemin Stadium, man. This is a lovely place, and I don't think this place could hold your voice. How are you?
Phil, what's the feeling at Chapel Hill?
Yeah, they're nervous here. They're very nervous here. And I'm nervous, too, just because it's the eve of a super regional, and I can't help it being nervous. What's your feeling?
I'm glad you asked that, sir. I woke this morning, and I went to my record. You know how I like to go to my record collection. And I'm still feeling Phil Collins. I can feel it in the air. Number 2, when I went to, I thought it'd be fit to put on a little Bob Seger, turn the page. Because that's exactly what we're going to do when we pull in the Beauchemin Stadium tomorrow, starting at 10 o'clock. We're going to turn the page and write a new headline. Number 3, I thought it'd be fitting when you talk about trains, and y'all can enjoy this, the choo-choo train. Caddy Shukla. And I feel the whistle is going to be blowing in a big way. And when we leave Beauchemin Stadium this weekend, we're going to be a runaway train on a one-way track to Omaha. So fan base, all aboard the whole train. Fasten your seatbelt and come along for the ride.
Eddie, it's great to hear from you. Thank you for listening to our show, and thank you for the litany of songs because you sounded – that's Eddie the Jukebox.
I'll have to use some of that for bumper music the rest of the show.
Yeah.
You got Bob Seger, Turn the Page, Runaway Train, Phil Collins in the Air Tonight.
Did he put a Tupac song in there just for good measure?
That's where he let up. California Love, Tupac.
Yeah, I don't know if Tupac ever did a Carolina song. Are there Carolina? There are some Carolina raps. I think you played one earlier.
I did. That was P.D. Pablo.
My favorite. He's without question
of all the
my
North
favorite.
Carolina rappers.
Right. Halftime's brought to you by Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center. It's real estate season, so if you're looking to revamp your home, hey, they got the in-stock vinyl plank flooring center right now at 89 cents per square foot. You can take it home today because it's in stock. They got laminate, ceramic, waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, you name it, they've got it. And the supplies to do it yourself or get professional installation. Check out Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center on Facebook. They were formerly Fort Smith Flooring. The website, flooring.norrisms.com. Flooring.norrisms.com for Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center. Keep getting your questions in for the Super Regional at 877-377-6963. The Golden Hour is next.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names. And tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
This message for listeners in the Knoxville, Augsburg, and surrounding areas. Wave Rural Connect is coming to you. Fast, reliable fiber internet, along with television and phone service from a local provider with the best customer service available. To pre-register, call 833-492-8372 or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Great people, great equipment, great opportunities. That is what you get at Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, Arkansas, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, with regional OTR and local opportunities for qualified CDL drivers. Make up to $95,000 annually and be a part of a team that embraces the concept of family. Patriot Transport wants you to be successful on the road and at home, working with every driver to ensure they get the miles they want and the family time at home they strive for. Patriot Transport, more than trucking, it's family. Visit patriottransport.com to apply.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers and thunderstorms most likely early in the day. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. Chance of a few isolated showers to storms tonight. And overnight low will drop down low 60s north, upper 60s south. And Saturday, sunny skies mid to upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The Hit That Line podcast network is now available on Pandora Music and Podcasts. Just open your app or browser and search Hit That Line.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com. Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Hi, and welcome back into halftime. It is the golden hour, our last week of, well, it's our last hour of work for the week, but these baseball games are not work to broadcast. They just kind of test your nerves as much as possible, certainly in the postseason. And we got a guy who knows exactly what that is like with us right now. Dave Nathan, he is the radio voice of North Carolina Tar Heels baseball. Also is the pre- and post host for Carolina football and basketball. He's been doing it for 10 years. And he's sitting here in the visiting radio booth with me right now. Dave, I appreciate your time, man. You got to be pretty fired up for this Super, huh?
I'll tell you what, this has been an exciting last couple of months around Chapel Hill with what the basketball team did on its run to a national championship game, and obviously with the way that baseball has picked things up in the last 6 or so weeks. It has been an awful lot of fun to be here, and I don't think anybody could have predicted that we'd be here playing this game in Chapel Hill a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they were struggling mightily. What was it, 4 or 5 straight series losses? But now they're, I mean, outside of Tennessee, I don't know if there's a hotter team in the country right now than the Tar Heels.
It's been a wild stretch. 5-14 was Carolina's record at one point in the middle of the season. 5 series losses, which had never happened before in the history of the program, and to have turned that around and to have won 8 straight at one stretch before falling to VCU last week and 19 out of 22. Something about this team has gotten things turned around at the right time, and it's just eerie to take a look at some of the similarities between Arkansas and Carolina in totality, but how they've gotten to this point in very different ways.
Mm-hmm. And there's also similarities in the successes over the years in the program without the Natty. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing that everybody is going to remind you about. I mean, they've been to Omaha 11 times.
Right.
That's a lot. Arkansas has been there 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's shocking that they've only played one game all time. My radio partner, the guy who's going to be sitting in your seat right now, Bubba Carpenter, was on the 1989 Razorback baseball team that beat Carolina in Omaha. So we're used to seeing some pretty intense postseason basketball games between these programs.
Yeah.
I'm fired up just to see Arkansas and North Carolina play it all on a field. Let me ask you here, where does baseball fit in for North Carolina sports fans? Because at Arkansas, you know, obviously football is going to be top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball has had such a great run, and that's where the most recent national championship comes from team sports. But the rise of baseball in like the last 15 years, it's bordering on being religion sometimes.
Right. I mean, there's no doubt this time of the year that baseball is running number one, but obviously historically and traditionally it's going to be tough to outdo basketball. And with Matt Brown coming back to, I guess he's going into his 4th year now with the football team, hard to believe time has gone by so quickly. Football is right there. There are high hopes that football is going to get back to where it was when Mac was here the first time back in the mid to late 1990s. But when Coach Fox cracked the code to get Carolina baseball on the national landscape every year, College World Series 06, 07, 08, 09, just again and again, things really, and that I guess coincides with my coming here and getting behind the microphone. This has been a class organization to work with, run by class people, and that's what's so nice to see about Coach Forbes in his second year now. Getting to this point, he took the reins from Coach Fox, and he just, let's be honest, you never know how it's going to go from one guy to the next. That all these jobs are hard, but for different reasons, and it's been really nice to see Coach Forbes take this job, run with it, and have this kind of success.
Dave, there's similarities in like how they passed on the head coaching job in basketball too. I mean, I know Coach Forbes didn't play here, but he was an assistant with Fox at Wesleyan too, right? Where he also played. So I mean, Hubert Davis was never a head coach in college. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing, obviously, because they finished runner-up. Scott Forbes was not a head coach in college until Mike Fox retires, and then he takes over and kind of keeps the program at the same level.
Yeah, I've had this discussion with other people before, and that is where fit outdoes experience. There's a lot of folks that have been head coaches that have excelled at the highest level that could do it almost anywhere. You look at Brian Kelly. I mean, is he a fit for LSU? We're going to find out. But
looked a little weird in some of those recruiting videos, I'll tell you that.
But there's no question, whatever kind of fit he's going to be, he's excelled at the position elsewhere in peer types of institutions. Now, it's a roll of the dice to hire somebody that's not been in that seat before at any level. And Bubba Cunningham here at Carolina has now done it twice in almost the same year, and it's worked. Our neighbors down at Duke have done something similar with John Shire heading up the basketball program and Nina King taking over as the athletics director over in Durham. So fit trumps experience, I think, in a lot of situations. And, you certainly win the press conference when you get those jobs as one of the school's own. But it's not a learning on the job deal. You've got to go out there and make it count with the W's. And both Coach Davis in basketball and Coach Forbes have done that this year.
Dave Nathan's the radio voice of the North Carolina Tar Heel baseball team. Dave, you mentioned that you see similarities between Arkansas and North Carolina, and I think I do too. Pitching staffs that lean pretty heavily on their bullpens, and it's amazing to see it. You got 4 relievers that have appeared in 30 games or more, including Sean Rapp, who leads the nation in appearances. And, I mean, if there's one thing that makes Razorback fans nervous, it's seeing left-handed pitchers, because that's been a bit of kryptonite against Arkansas's lineup, because most of their better hitters are left-handed. Certainly a lot of the power is left-handed. I think Scott Forbes is going to do some mixing and matching throughout this series when he gets the chance to.
Well, you sound like the Georgia guys who were just here last week and talking about left-handed pitching. And outside of the bullpen, Brandon Schaefer is one of the 2 top starters for Carolina. You got Max Carlson that's 1A, and then Schaefer that's 1B. Schaefer doesn't have great velo, but he's got a way of making it all work as a fastball sits somewhere between 87 and 91. He pitched a complete game shutout against Virginia Tech when the Hokies were the number 2 team in the country and hadn't been shut out in almost a full calendar year. Carolina's blessed with lefties in a way that they've not been for the last several years. But the reason why a lot of those guys saw so many appearances during the course of the season was because Schaefer was dinged up with back issue in March. Carlson's only factored into a handful of decisions this year. Those guys saw a lot of time based out of necessity more than anything else. So we're back to kind of where the season started for Carolina, going 18-3, and the bullpen hasn't been as needed as much as they've been. But I do think all the adversity that showed up in April is now you're bearing the fruit of that as you get into June.
Yeah, it is how it works like that. Another difference between these 2 teams, most of the power for Carolina appears to be right-handed. Maybe a little bit of an imbalance that way. It's like the top average hitters and on-base guys are lefties or switch hitters. The top power hitters are right-handed. Has that been an issue at all for them offensively this year?
I'll tell you what. Offensively, this team is leaps and bounds better than it was a year ago because you've added guys like Vance Honeycutt that's a freshman, Alberto Osuna that's a junior college transfer, Mac Horvath has made the leap from freshman year to sophomore, and those guys pack the most amount of punch. And, again, there have been some ebbs and flows. We all hear about that freshman wall that you can run into, and Vance hit it pretty good in April, but he's been moved into the 4 spot. Let me just read off the numbers for you here. since he's gotten into that 4 spot, I mean, he has been absolutely electric since the NC State series. ACC tournament MVP. He tied the single season record for home runs the other day that stood since 1986. So, and just wait till you see him play defense. It's going to be tough to beat him out there in center field. The switch hitters that you talk about, Mikey Madej, who was the regional MVP last week, and Danny Soretti, who had a 26-game hitting streak snapped at the very end of the season. Danny's as hot as anybody, and then Angel Zarate, who's a lefty, is 1 hit away from 100. So top to bottom, there just hasn't been an easy out during this 19-3 stretch.
How does the ballpark play? First of all, I love Boschemer. I think this is a beautiful ballpark. It reminds me of Auburn, but it's nicer and a little bit larger. Auburn has a short porch and left. You guys have the short porch and right, but it's not like a Green Monster type wall. Is this a left-handed hitter's power paradise?
I'll tell you what, the last 2 weeks of the season, this field has not played the way that it's played for the last 10 years. And I wonder, as people see Boschemer for the first time maybe this weekend or maybe it was last weekend, what the immediate thought is, because it feels like a hitter's ballpark. There were, I think, more homers hit here in any regional than there were anywhere else in the country last week. And in the regular season, it's never played that way before. We can talk about how the seams have been lowered on the baseball is maybe the biggest reason why. But we'll see what the pitching has to do. But from a power standpoint, I've seen it firsthand. Carolina's got the guys to muscle it out of here in any direction. And taking a look at what Arkansas has got as well, I know there's some dudes in the Hogs order that can push it out of the ballpark as well. So
you're not going to have a team in the supers if you don't have dudes. You bring something up that I asked Dave Van Horn about. And I don't touch the baseball enough to really be able to tell whether or not the seams are lower than they were the year before. He thinks it has been. He thinks they are. And when I started doing these games was the year that they lowered the seam from the mountain ranges that used to be on the ball to what, and that's where it really felt like you had this good balance between the ball and the bat, maybe for the first time in like decades in college baseball. But this year there's a little difference. Dave says the ball feels a little bit harder, just a tiny bit harder, and the seams are a little bit lower. So there's less mass, and that ball's traveling maybe 3 or 4 feet farther, and those 3 or 4 feet make a difference.
Well, it sounds like a 20-year head coach that's taken a couple of programs to the College World Series. I mean, Coach Van Horn knows what he's talking about. He knows this game inside and out, and it almost feels like we're kind of boomeranging back to before the old BB Core era started back in 2011 with Gorilla Ball. And as you know from going to TD Ameritrade Park, I mean, that park plays bigger than any place it will go all year. And if this trend continues into next week, whoever's there, I think you got to take a good hard look at the baseball and say that's the difference.
I think it is the difference. Well, we'll see what happens over these next few days here. And, Dave, we'll let you go. I appreciate you stopping by. And, I mean, we'll be one booth next to each other throughout these next few days. So no dirty looks, all right? Let the best team win, right?
We're going to play it out to see who emerges. Let's do it.
You got it. I appreciate your time. That's Dave Nathan, radio voice of North Carolina baseball, also the pre- and post-host for North Carolina football and men's basketball. He's at Dave Nathan on Air is the Twitter account.
Middle initial is A, by the way, so not totally off base.
Works out pretty well for you there. All right, we got more questions coming in here at 877-377-6963. Shea says he thinks he's the only person who listens to halftime that was in attendance when Arkansas and North Carolina played in 1989. Shea, were you the SID for Arkansas baseball then? Who else was at that game? Let us know. 877-377-6963. There's more after the break.
Hey Arkansas fans, this is JD with JD's River Valley Restoration and Detail. We're hogs through and through and we like getting dirty, but our cars need to look clean and fresh, and that's where we come in. Come and check out our brand new expanded shop at 5606 Towson Avenue, or you can follow us on Facebook at JD's River Valley Restoration for new updates including food trucks on the lot, car shows, detail courses, and much, much more. Give us a call at 479-629-7486. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. JD's River Valley Restoration, where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
This message for listeners in the Knoxville, Augsburg, and surrounding areas. Wave Rural Connect is coming to you. Fast, reliable fiber internet, along with television and phone service from a local provider with the best customer service available. To pre-register, call 833-492-8372 or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
June is a great month to buy furniture, and at Bankroll Furniture, we have the deals. Our furniture is marked down to unbelievable prices, and we have it in stock ready for you to take home today. Our store is packed, our warehouse is packed, and we have truckloads on the way. We have to move it. At Bankroll Furniture, we are family-owned, have service after sale, offer in-store no credit check financing, and delivery service, all with made in the USA furniture. Bankroll Furniture, best seats in the house.
Where can you get good neighbor service and surprisingly great insurance rates? At State Farm, because State Farm agent Heath Roberts is your one-stop shop in the River Valley for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop looking around. State Farm agent Heath Roberts is ready to help. Call 479-452-4088 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Make the short drive and save thousands. It's the manager specials on the front row at Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal. The best deals on the lot are right up front, Troy.
Parked right up front, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars off of these manager specials. And hey, here's the best part. They are not high mileage, old vehicles. A lot of these vehicles still have factory warranty on them, and we've got them marked down. They've just been here a couple of days too long, and we got to get them out of here, make space for that new inventory that we got coming in. So if you were looking for a steal of a deal on a unit, come down here and see us and take a look at this manager special row, and hey, save you up to $7,000 off of one of these units.
Plus, you might find something a little more economical on fuel.
Yeah, definitely something that gets a little better gas mileage, and you can still get a couple of $1,000s off in savings.
You won't beat these deals. They're on the front row. They're the manager specials at Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. It's a short drive 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal, and always online at harryrobinson.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
On a long and lonesome highway east of Omaha, you can listen to the engine moaning out his one-note song. You can think about the woman or the girl you knew the night before.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
And we got a caller on hold here. We'll get to him in a moment. If you want to be a part of the show, the number is 877-377-6963. We got odds. We got odds on the Super Regionals right now at busr.com. You can find all the odds on any sport, NHL playoffs, NBA finals, Major League Baseball, and the Super Regionals right now. If you even want to just put money on who you think's going to win the Heisman Trophy, you can do it at busr.com. And ESPN Arkansas listeners qualify for a 100% deposit bonus. Just register at busr.com/morningrush. busr.com/morningrush. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR. We got Charlie on hold. What's up, Tuna? It's good to hear from you. Appreciate you calling.
Man, what's up, Phil? How you doing?
Doing great, man. I'm at a baseball park. The sun is shining. Couldn't be any better.
Phil, you just hurt my feelings because I'm sitting out in my truck and it's been storming down here in South Arkansas all freaking morning. All you guys I got to do is check the radar. I wish I was right there with you, man.
I did not mean to rub it in and go all high and mighty weather on you, but it is beautiful here today.
Man.
And if there are any chances to rain for the weekend, I think they've gone away. We should be fine for the rest of the weekend.
Good, because I don't want any delays. I'm ready to see what's going to happen.
And you know, Charlie, we have pre- and post-game shows this weekend, too, so that'd really mess things up if they start delaying games.
Yeah, that would. Hey, where's old Great Drew at today? What's he got going?
He's hung over from the Parrot Head concert.
Yeah, we got to just be honest about this. Drew understood the situation. He went to the Jimmy Buffett concert, so he just wouldn't. I don't think he can put two words together today.
Yeah, they were doing too many whippets out in the parking lot.
You predicted that for him yesterday, didn't you, Matty?
He said, yeah, that's what we're doing.
And then there's a whole bunch of listeners right now that think you're talking about a type of dog, I think. Anyway.
Well, I'm going to have to get old Drew. He can't be missing work just because he's hung over. We're going to have to be better than that when he comes back on here. Is he going to be on the pre- or post-game shows with Ty? Is that what we're talking, Matty?
I heard that there's a good possibility he will be involved with one of those programs.
Speaking of,
if he wakes up.
Ty has sat down here. You can come on in. Bob Holt, we got a lot going on here in the radio booth. Bob's on in the next segment. Ty just sat down here and has taken his headset. So you are hosting. You got an Arkansas game day and post-game going on at some point. Be careful about the water you're about to drink. I don't know if Bob drank out of that or if Dave drank out of that or if I drank out of that.
I thought he asked, is there drinks in here when he was asking, is my water in here? So I pointed out, and he said, I'll get out. I didn't mean like, you need to get out, Bob. I mean like, there's drinks out that way.
and Bob right now is cursing you under his breath, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Ty, I hope you're enjoying that great weather down there, buddy, because I'm down here in South Arkansas, and it's nasty today.
Yeah,
hope you and Phil are having a good old time.
Tommy,
it's all business, Charlie. It's all business. No fun.
Tommy and
no
Clay
fun.
were giving me a hard time this morning because they were like, so what's the weather up like out there? And I was like, it's perfect.
It is perfect, and it's not perfect in Arkansas, that's for sure.
No, it ain't. Not down here. But anyway, I was going to ask you guys, Phil, I was going to ask you, you were talking about, I heard you first day talking about, you feel like it's going to be good for hitting this weekend as far as maybe getting a few more home runs. Well, if that's the case, if they hit like they hit down at Oklahoma State, we're going to be all right. I'm hoping that our pitching staff could definitely come through. We had been talking, we talked the other day. You don't think Hagan is a must start? You don't think he necessarily starts game 2?
No, I don't think it's a given. I don't think it's a given that he'll start game 2. I'm not telling you that he's not going to start game 2 or that I think he should. I do think that what he showed on Monday, you can't take for granted somebody coming in and being able to get out of a bases-loaded one-out situation by striking out 2 hitters that had basically owned the other pitchers for the first 2 games they'd played, and then sets them down in order in the 9th. Like, that's some special stuff. That's closer stuff. You can't just say to anybody, here, get the ball in this situation and go do this. So because of that, there's something in me that feels like you might see Hagan Smith pitch in relief this weekend. And hey, we got a media session once the guys are finished working out, so I'm sure that'll be one of the questions that Dave gets.
Yeah, and maybe so. I just thought he more so used Hagan in that situation because, the arms were definitely – obviously, we were struggling going in there in Game 3, but I'm happy that he texted them and showed that confidence, as an 18-year-old, basically baby, and showed that, hey, I know he hit a guy or something too, and then did he strike all 3 guys out? I think he
struck
did.
3 guys out of the final 5 that he faced.
Okay.
So then the question would be, Charlie, like if you're gonna change who's closing games for you potentially, and I'm not saying that Taggart doesn't close. You got one right-handed option and a left-handed option. I wonder what the starting rotation could look like, because I think right now you've had 2 starters that haven't really shown that they've been able to settle into that role right now. Hagan is one of them. Jackson Wiggins is the other. And yet we've seen 2 other pitchers recently give you more innings than the starters have been able to go, but they've done it in relief. Zach Morris on Monday, Will McIntyre. Like, watch for either of those 2 guys to start Saturday's game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's either one of those 2. And again, those are questions for Dave Van Horn later today.
Yeah, well, I thought Zach would definitely be a Game 3 starter. In my head, I was thinking that if they did go Hagan, he would try to hold him back, because I know Zach has relieved a lot this year too. He definitely looked really good the other day. Also, I was going to ask you, Phil, you know, I was thinking about Robert Moore the other day, and I know last year his average and his power and stuff. Can you has he always been much better on the left side than he has the right side?
Well, yeah, his numbers last year reflected that he was a much better hitter and more comfortable from the left side of the plate. But he's changed his approach a little bit against lefties this year. So when it comes to hitting right-handed, I think he's hitting better than most people give him credit for. He's hit 4 home runs from the right side of the plate. He's hitting .250 with a .408 on-base percentage from that side. That's a lot better numbers than he had last year from the right side, and he's still getting so many fewer at-bats as a right-handed hitter. He's still a better hitter lefty. But I think there's something about he went closer to the plate so he can reach pitches on the outside corner and pull them. So when you're watching Robert hit right-handed this weekend, and he will because they've got plenty of lefties, watch how close he is to the plate. He's doing that so that he can reach the outside pitch and pull it with pop. So he's become a much better right-handed hitter this year, and it's been through hard work.
Good deal. Well, I mean, I've always thought all year there's been a lot of balls he's hit really hard, and it just hasn't went his way at times. Dave's kind of made the comments about, just balls not bouncing our way at times, and he's one of those guys at times this year that I felt like he just kind of had some bad breaks. He'd make hard contact, and they'd somehow be in the right spot and get him out. But anyways, I'm expecting 3 games. I've already said that. I think I said it yesterday.
It's just,
but Arkansas is going to win this thing. I'm telling you right now. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much, Charlie. It's good to hear from you. 877-377-6963. I mean, it's really easy to say this is going to go to a 3rd game because these are 2 really, really good teams. And if we're just going by recent memory, how many super regionals that Arkansas has played in a row have gone to 3 games? 2015 did, 2018, 2019, 2021, for just going by trends. Yeah, this probably will be a 3-game super regional. To be quite honest, I don't see any way that, well, I do see a way that it's not. I don't want to go in that direction. I'd love a sweep, but sweeps are awfully tough to come by with 2 in a row. All right, we're going to step aside for a quick break. Ty, you really want to try to fight over the best Kevin Costner movie in the last segment here? I mean, you went and visited the Bull Durham site, so I'm a little envious you did it before I could. We just got to get you to actually watch Bull Durham.
I've seen it
properly.
It's halftime homework. I guess I have to watch it with you.
Yeah.
We can do that last segment. You got a much better segment coming up with Bob.
Or read some real reviews about Tin Cup that say the truth about the movie, all right?
Kevin Costner was better in The Big Chill than he was in Tin
right.
Cup.
And he was dead in Big Chill. So take that with how much salt you want. All right, stay tuned. Bob Holt, who's very much alive, joining us on Halftime next.
Can you help me remember how to smile? Make it somehow all seem worthwhile.
Racing fans, it's time for the final leg of horse racing's Triple Crown. Where are you going to bet? BUSR, of course. You name it, they've got it. Place your wager on the Belmont Stakes today and lock in fantastic odds. Besides horses, you can bet on sports and play over 300 casino games at BUSR.
The company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500.
ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com's exclusive coverage on the road to Omaha is brought to you by Crane Kia of Fayetteville. Find your next gas saver during our MPG days. Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort. More excitement, more winning at Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort. And by North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, bringing better to you.
Drive, helking the right field line. It's in for a base hit. Webb scores from second base. Wallace is given the green light. He's on his way home. There's no throw, and the Razorbacks are leading with a 2-run double in the ninth inning by Michael Turner. It's 7-3.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
Favorite rental player with a great moment in the win on Monday against Oklahoma State. And we usually like to rent some time from Bob Holt every week, and he is good to give us some of his time right now here at Boshemer. I think I've been pronouncing it incorrectly for a while, Bob. I want to say Boshemer. Dave Nathan, the voice of Carolina baseball, pronounced it Boshemer. So we just got to get used to the things that we're not used to because we're not used to the stadium.
I'm just going to call Carolina's ballpark.
That works. That works. Well, they don't have a sponsor name that you got to take out when you put in your when you write your story for this. I love this ballpark, and you hit on it exactly. The moment you sat down here, it reminded you of Auburn. It reminds me of Auburn, too, except I think it's, Auburn is short in left, and then they've got that kind of big gap in left center. Now this feels more like a left-handed hitter's ballpark, but it's small, it's cute. If I think you could fit 2 of these inside Baum-Walker Stadium, but I love this park. I love small, cute little parks. This is one of them.
I would call this very quaint, very southern, charming, quaint. But it's a nice ballpark. I'm sure it's plenty good for Carolina, and I don't mean that to be condescending, but I think this park is probably perfect for Carolina. It's not quite like Northwest Arkansas, and while there are a ton of Carolina fans, you have Duke just down the road, NC State just down the road. You have the Durham Bulls AAA ball club here. I mean, and I know we have the Naturals in Springdale. They do a great job, but there's just a lot more diversity for support in this area. And so I don't think one of the college programs probably needs an 11,000-seat stadium or whatever it is that Baum-Walker seats now.
So, Bob, you had a piece today writing about Peyton Stovall, freshman first baseman, who, of course, was a middle infielder in high school, but got to play first base to crack the lineup for the Hogs this year. And I think we focused a little much on the idea that they've hit a lot of home runs recently, and that's what you expect them to do. Stovall hasn't really been hitting home runs. He's been making contact. He's been reaching base, and he's been coming through in some pretty big moments. I mean, you just look at how he started that big 8th-inning rally on Saturday against Oklahoma State's bullpen with just a simple single down the third base line. He's turned himself into a very valuable piece of this lineup, and it was just recently too we were thinking that he might not be able to crack the lineup again after Kendall Diggs started getting some starts.
Yeah, I think I added this up. Math's never been my strong suit, but I think since he came back from that finger injury, he's hitting like 337, and before that he was hitting like 255 or something, which isn't bad for a freshman in the SEC, but he was basically seen as a first-round draft pick who turned down a lot of money to come to Arkansas, because I'm sure he's going to make a whole lot more money when he gets drafted after his junior year. But, yeah, he was, high expectations. Dave Van Horn mentioned a couple times, really had ridiculously high expectations placed upon him for being a young guy. He just turned 19. I'll look this up. 4 days before the season started. So, very, very young player and obviously talented, but he seems to have settled in now, and he's more relaxed. And he said that he was kind of hard on himself, beating himself up. Michael Turner mentioned the other day that he had talking about Stovall, had talked to Michael, and I think it was Caden Wallace, and got some advice from them. Has kind of settled in more. So, I mean, their lineup's really good, and with him, it's just that with him hitting the way he has been of late, it's just that much better.
What's the first question you're going to ask Dave Van Horn? If it's me, then I'm asking the first question. And it's not an interview like, a pregame interview where you're trying to have a conversation. It would be about the starting rotation, and not just about game one, but it would be about the new roles that we saw for guys like Will McIntyre or Hagen Smith, and how that might change the roles that we've seen recently for Hagen specifically, and also for Jackson Wiggins. And maybe the idea that you saw a guy close a game on Monday in the biggest pressure cooker of the year, do you want to give him the ball in that moment again?
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably goes without saying Connor Nolan will start game one, but we need to ask to confirm, because
if you don't, he's not going to say it, right?
Well, yeah, and also I guess it was the weekend he changed the rotation. I think it was at Alabama. We forgot to ask him. I don't know if we much forgot. We just assumed,
It was assumed. That's right.
In our business, assume, how that saying goes. I don't need to repeat that here on the radio. But so yeah, but have you decided? Are you starting Connor? Have you decided? I'm not even going to say that. They always teach us don't ask yes or no questions unless you just want a yes or no. Say who are your starters for the first 2 games, and why those guys. And he might say they haven't decided on game 2 starter, even though they probably have. And yeah, is Hagen maybe coming out of the bullpen, because you can have some more flexibility there. So I guess, yeah, what's the pitching plan? I'd be curious to see what he thinks about this ballpark after being in it, and maybe after seeing how the ball travels in practice. Because obviously the ball was flying out of over 8 Stadium last week, although it was a little more normal on Monday. I guess maybe it was a little cooler. Not cool, but maybe a little cooler. And it was a night game. I don't know, but yeah, I'd be curious what he brought this up the other day. Somebody asked him thoughts on North Carolina, and Dave's coached close to 2,000 games. Maybe if you add in Texarkana, it's about 2,000 games, and he's never played North Carolina. To me, that's amazing. I mean, not because they haven't scheduled him, but just you think they would have played somewhere. Because you think about the teams they've played in supers of late. You know, it's been SEC schools sometimes like South Carolina and Ole Miss or Missouri State, a team they're very familiar with, or even Nebraska. That's where Dave coached, and he'd faced them. And this Carolina team, you know, in this ballpark or something that's totally new to him, they've had a week to scout them. And I'm sure Matt Hobbs probably has a good, you know, coach of Wake Forest, so he probably has a good idea how this ballpark plays. Obviously, Carolina's roster's turned over since Matt was at Wake Forest. But then you got Chris Lanzilli, who played at Wake, coming back here. I'm sure he's, you know, has a good idea how to hit in this ballpark and can give the coaches some tips and his teammates. So, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things, you know, going into the Super Regional.
I think this team's comfortable playing on the road right now, and I think any team that wins a road regional is just comfortable going in on the road in a Super Regional. We saw that with NC State last year. I mean, NC State wins a regional in Columbia, South Carolina, and they looked pretty comfortable when they came into that intimidating atmosphere at Baum Walker, and they were never intimidated, even after a 21-2 defeat in the first game. You know, if Arkansas had played at home and had the niceties of home and then had to go on the road, I'd think, well, things are a little bit different right now. You know, I mean, they don't have their fans and everything. They didn't have their fans last week at the level that they're used to. They won't have the fans like they did last week this week because it's a smaller park and it's further away. But there's something about the way they played last weekend, especially in the most offensive regional in NCAA tournament history and a tough place to win. I don't make anything about them being on the road. I don't think that affects them in this series.
No, and they didn't just win the regional in Stillwater. They beat Oklahoma State three straight times. Sometimes when you win a regional on the road, you don't necessarily have to play the home team. Like I think when they went over there in 2015, they beat Oral Roberts, Oklahoma State, and St. John. So they had to play Oklahoma State once. Of course, that was in a smaller ballpark, LP Reynolds Stadium and all that. But, yeah, so, I mean, they basically went into Stillwater and took a super regional from Oklahoma State. They played them 3 straight days, and they took them 2 out of 3. Now, of course, Oklahoma State had to play some extra games and all that, but that was their fault for losing Arkansas that first night, or Saturday night. But, so, yeah, I think Arkansas, obviously, they've played all these in these tough SEC venues, and so, yeah, I think they're definitely road tested. And, you know, maybe with all the everything that was going on, it was good for them to be on the road and kind of bond. I know things didn't go well in Hoover, but I'm going to take a chance to pat myself on the back a little bit. I wrote a story which I thought I got really good information from guys like Zach Cox and Tim Carver and Dave Jordan, Tyler Spoon about they'd been on teams that had sort of rough finishes or went 0-2 in Hoover or had to go to Stillwater, and they'd all gone to the World Series. And it's really just about getting back home, kind of getting your feet back under you, resetting everything, and just going on the road with confidence. And that they'd done that before, and they did it again last weekend.
Well, then you got to ask Scott Forbes, the UNC head baseball coach, if he thinks that them sweeping through the SEC tournament had anything to do with them winning their regional last week. I mean, they came through the losers bracket. That was 3 wins in a row. They were the team that won the ACC tournament, and they probably needed to win that in order to host. Because before that, they'd kind of scuffled for a while, but sweeping through the ACC tournament, I think, is the reason that they're even playing at home in this super regional. So, and I agree with you about Arkansas and Hoover. Like, whatever happens in Hoover has absolutely nothing to do with what will happen afterwards. Like, you try to win in Hoover, that's fine. But whatever happens there, you leave it behind, and the NCAA postseason is a totally different thing. I wonder if the ACC tournament is viewed the same way by those in the ACC, because just about everybody that is used to playing in the NCAA tournament in the SEC, they all say the same about Hoover. They'll say it behind closed doors, you know.
Well, the SEC tournament makes money. It's programming, inventory, if you will, for the SEC network. And, you know, Arkansas could have helped. If Arkansas had gone to Hoover and won a couple games, maybe they would have hosted a regional. They probably would have. But, you know, it didn't happen. And there's some advantages to getting home and getting rested. I mean, you could tell Connor, I think, was pretty well rested. You know, threw 70-something pitches. After I'd added up, I'm lousy at math, but I think in one 8-game stretch he had 800 pitches. Even I know that's 100 pitches a game. That's a heavy workload, especially when you look at he threw like 16 innings last year because his arm was hurt. So I think Connor looked like Connor again, which he hadn't looked like for a while. He'd pitched okay, but he was really dominant. And so, yeah, I think that rest, you know, Michael Turner talked about it. You know, you're catching a lot of games, and obviously that's a demanding physical position, especially that heat in Oklahoma in Stillwater. So I just think, and they had to go on the road and win the Super. Carolina's been home; they're home again. But I feel like Arkansas. These are young guys, and they're probably pretty refreshed physically, and I'm sure they're very fired up mentally to play in the Super Regional.
You know what I think, Bob? I think you're a lot better at math than you let on. That's a line that you'll try to throw off some. I think you're a lot smarter when it comes to mathematics than you actually admit.
I got a D in college algebra. So
Really?
Yes, I did.
But you still graduated.
I did.
You're a sports writer. You guys are all great with statistics.
Well, if they're printed and handed to me or something, if I hear you say it on the radio. But yeah, it was late. I was like a senior. They kept switching advisors on me, and I got this new advisor. And he's looking at my transcript. He says, "You got a D in college algebra," and I was like, when I was a freshman. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't real good at it. And honestly, the teaching assistant wasn't very good. I mean, you need to be able to teach some so guys like me can understand. And he says, well, can you graduate with this? And I'm thinking, this is about, I don't know, this is going into my last semester. And I said, well, nobody's ever brought it up before. I mean, my parents are planning to come to graduation, so I sure hope so. And then just kind of never brought it up again.
You know what happened with me in college algebra, Bob? I failed because I didn't go to class. But I can still tabulate batting averages and on-base percentages. I can figure out WHIP and OPS and yards per attempt, yards per catch. It's all these numbers that I was told until about the age of 12 when folks realized that I meant when I said that I was going to get into sports radio. They said these things aren't going to help you in life. You're wasting your time. No, sports statistics are mathematics.
I
think you know your stuff.
Yeah, but I was just glad to get that D and not get an F.
Well, I am too. That made you a sports writer here. You visiting anywhere here in the Raleigh-Durham area? There's a lot to see here. I want to go see the Bull Durham sites.
It's a beautiful campus. And, of course, our publisher, Mr. Hussman, went to school here.
That's
He's
right.
donated a lot of money to the journalism school. It's a beautiful campus. I think it's a beautiful town. Franklin Avenue or Street or whatever it is, it's kind of their Dixon Street. And, yeah, we went to a real good – if anybody's going to be in town, we went to top of the – something, and it's on Franklin Street. Great view, good food, nice people.
Sounds memorable.
And we went to Sutton's, which I guess Ty did a show from there. I didn't see your picture. They had a lot of pictures on the wall. They haven't put Ty's picture up yet, apparently, but it's kind of an old-school drugstore counter. Really, it's not health food, but they have really good burgers and good sandwiches. They do have some salads. I don't know if they have any lettuce in them, but they do have some salads, good milkshake. They had a cool thing. I don't know if they're for sale or display, but they had all kinds of old soda bottles, and they've got antique Coke machines in there if you like to see that stuff. So I'd recommend that place. A lot of good places. Yeah, I'd like to get over to Duke. I was there about 20 years ago when Arkansas was over there for the Outdoor Nationals. They had it at Duke's football stadium, which is I don't know what it's like now, but back then it was basically like a track stadium seating-wise. And but, yeah, if you go over – probably it'd be cool to go into Cameron Indoor Stadium and the facilities here at Carolina. It's just a beautiful place to drive around. So, yeah, if you're here, hopefully you can get out and do some things.
Bob, appreciate you stopping by. It's great having you in the booth these last 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure.
You got it. Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, one of our all-time great guests here on Halftime. Want to remind you about the Fence Man. It's not just the company you trust for building quality fencing and gates. They also have great jobs for fence builders or anyone with building experience. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. So you can apply in person at the Fence Man in Fort Smith at 1213 North 32nd Street. That's 1213 North 32nd Street to apply for a great job with the Fence Man in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer. I'll tell you, if Sutton's doesn't have any photos of Ty Richardson to put on the wall, I got some photos from Ty in Hot Springs this last week, and then I could email them. Those would belong on somebody's wall, maybe not for anyone in the public. We'll wrap up halftime after this, so don't go anywhere.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Keep bugs from feasting on your lawn with Ortho Bug Clear Lawn Insect Killer from Metters Lumber True Value. Choose 10-pound granules, 32-ounce ready to spray, or concentrate formulas for just $6.99 after a $3 instant rebate for True Value Rewards members. This formula stops bugs within minutes and provides long-lasting control. It's effective on a variety of bugs and insects, and it's odor-free. Pick up these bargains of the month while supplies last at Metters Lumber True Value. Certain exclusions apply. See store for details.
Is this the right decision? Living with an aging parent can bring stress, uncertainty, and guilt. Ease those emotions and trust that they are safe and happy at Dalton's Place at Waldron. Living in this community improves the health, nutrition, and housing for your loved one, regardless of income. Private apartments allow your mom or dad to keep their independence while their health is always monitored. Contact us today to see if your loved one qualifies. Dalton's Place at Waldron, 520 West 2nd Street. Your well-being first.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Ask Shelter agent Bill Hicks about renter's insurance.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleets. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street across from Play It Again Sports or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Your journey for outdoor fun starts at Adventure Oklahoma by Auto Finders in Roland. CF Moto's superior quality on ATVs and side-by-sides makes fun affordable. Hit the water in style with the all-new 2022 lineup of Suncatcher pontoons and G3 bass boats powered by Yamaha. They're also Oklahoma's exclusive Falcon Bass Boat dealer. The sales staff has earned outstanding Facebook reviews because of their service during and after the sale. Start your journey at Adventure Oklahoma by Auto Finders Highway 64 Roland. Check out the pre-owned vehicle selection too. 918-503-6633. AutoFindersOK.com.
Dads are special, so don't forget Dad this Father's Day at Sody's Wine and Spirits. Sody's has hard-to-find premium bourbons and whiskeys, the largest selection of craft beers with over 600 to pick from, and fill up a growler for Dad this Father's Day. And for the wine aficionados, the largest and best selection of wines in town. Everyone loves Sody's, especially your dad. Experience different at Sody's Wine and Spirits, Phoenix Avenue at I-540 in Fort Smith, and online at mysodys.com.
Fast, reliable, local. 3 reasons to choose Dobson Fiber for your business internet and phone needs. Why is Dobson better? Because we're an all-fiber network, 100%. The Dobson network includes over 4,900 miles of fiber optic cable. And because we're all fiber, we have over 99% uptime. Come work with real local people. We've lived and worked in the communities we've served for 85 years. Choose Dobson Fiber for your business today. Visit us at dobson.net.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Phil Elson and Ty Richardson are live in North Carolina at the Chapel Hill Super Regional. ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com's exclusive coverage on the road to Omaha is brought to you by Crane Kia of Fayetteville. Find your next gas saver during our MPG days. Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort. More excitement, more winning at Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort. And by North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, bringing better to you.
It's a big job just getting by with 9 kids and a wife. But I've been working, man, dang near all my life, and I'll keep on working long as my 2 hands are fit to use. I'll drink my beer in a tavern, sing a little bit of these working man blues.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Rejoice, Longhorn haters, but not too much because it's only the 5th inning. East Carolina's up 7-2 on the Longhorns, and the Pirates are batting right now. Greenville's not too far away from here. Got a couple of super regionals in this great baseball state that Ty Richardson drove to from Arkansas. How you feeling?
I'm good, man.
Wasn't that bad of a drive? Like, you were able. Did you get
Split
some?
it up.
Have you had some cookout yet? I know that's the only reason you've really made this whole drive.
I've not had cookout yet. Drew said he found one for me, but I've not had it yet. It will be eaten at some point in time. But I had some good food. Had barbecue already in Tennessee. Hadn't had it in North Carolina yet, so we're gonna have to.
You know they do barbecue differently here than we do in Arkansas.
Yeah, we were. I think Bob
vinegar based
was telling us the west side is the mustard base and the east side is vinegar based. I'd rather have the mustard than the vinegar, but I'll probably try them both.
This was my introduction to Southern culture. I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That would have been the summer of 1995. I'd never eaten a pulled pork sandwich before that. And my life hasn't been the same since. Sweet tea. That was also my introduction to sweet tea. Believe it. Believe it or not, you order sweet tea in the North, they look at you like you have a third eye. It blew my mind away. Living in Fayetteville, North Carolina, they had sweet tea everywhere. It was like it was McDonald's. Have I died and gone to heaven? It's nice to be back.
It's Maddie. We Southerners changed the yinzer real quick and just over sweet tea, man.
That's right.
That's right.
Hey. By the way,
today's actually National Sweet Tea Day.
It is?
That?
Yes, Friday, June 10th.
It's almost like you knew that.
This is the one day to not ask for half and half, because that's the way I got to go. It should be just too sweet sometimes, just like you, Ty. You're just too sweet.
Oh, shucks.
Hey, don't forget about 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge when you're making your plans tonight. They've got piano guy Tony playing from 8 until midnight. That's everyone's favorite sing-along piano guy Tony. You can go to 906lounge.com to look at their menu. Their Facebook page for all the events. That's 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge in Fort Smith at 906 Garrison Avenue.
Did you ever tell Ty about those photos we were getting over the weekend?
From Drew?
From Drew, yeah.
Hot Springs. You guys had a good time in Hot Springs over the weekend, didn't you?
How was Ty in Hot Springs and Stillwater at the same time?
You had some races, didn't you?
Yeah, Stillwater game 1, leave after game Friday, tub races that morning, Washita the rest of the weekend. It was a good weekend.
And then you made it here.
And made it here.
Any possible way I could get some of those same photos from the Hot Springs weekend tonight somewhere?
I didn't even know they existed. Oh, tonight.
Yeah, they're out there. Trust me, they're out there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is a work trip, so Tommy always prefaces, hey,
but the boat races were a work trip too.
Yeah, and watching the game and stuff. So what happened?
We just know weekend Ty and weekday Ty are two different people.
Separate. Matty T, that's an excellent point. And Phil, it was funny. So we didn't have the cable set up on the Vizio TV in Washita, so we're listening to you and Phil and Bubba blared on the not Vizio, not Believe speaker. I can't think what the Bose speaker, and it is just loud, echoing through the lake house. And when Jalen hit that shot, that grand slam it was like I think 10 o'clock at night or 11.
Did I blow your speaker out?
We almost fell off the dock, or not the dock, the ledge. It was nuts, man. So you and Bubba did. I don't know how y'all kept that energy all night because it was awesome.
Well, trust me, it took a full day and a half to recover from having all that energy. Hopefully, we get some moments like that this weekend. I have a feeling we will because Super Regionals are just so much fun. All right, we've made it to the end of a lovely edition of Halftime, and it's been a fun golden hour. Maddie, always appreciate you, man. Hope you have a great weekend. For Drew, wherever it is, Drew recovering from your Parrot Head concert, I hope you're all right to get back on with us on Monday. So for Drew and Maddie and for Ty and everyone else, I'm Phil. Have a great weekend and go Hogs. Get up, get out, and get better.